The thing I'm really enjoying about Komi is how it's very similar in formula, I think, to something that I really love, which is Kaguya-sama Loves War. There's clearly the main relationship with Tadano and Komi and how it's blossoming, and you get these really sweet little moments that don't need a lot of dialogue to say what's happening, like the credit sequence, which actually you get more anime within the credits where most of it's silent, but the fact that she waited in the pouring rain, obviously she wasn't getting soaked, she was inside the school, but she waited because someone had to take her boy's umbrella. And the fact that she waited to walk with him, right? Just those little moments, it blossoms the show into something very wholesome and sweet. And then the absurdity of the school, whether it's a ninja in the classroom, the Chuny that we get introduced to in this episode, the obsessive stalker Yandere, right? You got all these individual personalities that craft the personality of the individual school. And it really creates a very entertaining dynamic where you don't necessarily have to have anything majorly happen between the central two's relationship in order for an episode to be entertaining. You can just have the rival pretty much come to respect Komi and pretty much come out saying, rather than an unhealthy rivalry where she wants to probably rip her hair out, now it's more of like a envious kind of like, it's a goal for her, right? We're going to compete with Komi, but not hate Komi sort of a situation. The ramen situation, right? But then you get those sweeter moments, and I'm really liking that. I mean, there was definitely some major steps made in this episode. The two went over to Komi's house, and also we have the whole rain sequence with the umbrella. So there definitely was some sort of relationship slash character growth for Komi as well as Tadano. But episodes like these really flex just how you can have a handful of kind of grab bag of ideas of random situations, and it's hard not to come out of an episode just saying I had a blast, I had a grin, I was questioning what I was seeing. But it's always great to see how a silent character like Komi can navigate situations like ordering ramen and just getting a random bowl of delicious noodles and beef, and I'm just like, holy shit, I wish I had that bowl of ramen. I really think the ramen situation was probably one of the more interesting slash entertaining ones of this episode, because when you have apparently a ramen enthusiast like Agari, right, this is just the rules about the do's and don'ts. I'm willing to believe there might be some social etiquette that's actually accurate here, but the idea of not really talking, handing back your bowl as soon as you're done, giving up your seat, and just the idea of politeness and how people were getting very upset with the Tadano and company because one, they couldn't eat enough ramen that was given to them, but also it's just a very new experience. I just love seeing the bonding sequence where Komi's starting to request things. There's actually 2 requests in this episode, one of which was a picture frame, because obviously we get this really sweet moment where she gets a text from, of course, one of her friends now, and the idea of wanting to frame that picture and keep it out visible. The fact that she asked the mother for a picture frame and the mother responds how she rarely asks for things. And then you also get the moment with wanting to go to a ramen shop and very much doing things that are normally outside her comfort zone. But now that she has friends that she can go with, she feels a bit more brave in order to kind of put herself out there. The mother was definitely a welcome surprise for me in this episode with Komi, because I really wasn't sure what we are going to get. And the initial, when they walk into her home and she's very quiet, I was like, oh, there's going to be 2 Komis basically, right? 2 socially awkward, but then you get the complete difference of forever 17 and just the very positive energy. You can understand why Komi was definitely a little more hesitant to bring people over, not only just because you're kind of invading her privacy, and for a shutting character who has trouble speaking, someone coming into your room, it's something that takes a lot of guts. So mix that with a mother who's forever 17, you can understand. But I mean, it's great to have kind of a polar opposite mentality from mother and daughter, but clearly they have a relationship. It's not bitter or anything like that. But it was great. I'm really hoping we get to see a handful more times with the mother, especially if them going over to visit Komi is something that's going to be in an ongoing situation. I really would love to see more with her family and the different kind of quirks that they have, how normal or how absurd they might be in comparison to a normal family. But the idea of pretty much leaving the 2 lovebirds alone, hoping for some drama to pop up, finding something she doesn't want, rather than porn mags under the bed, it's how to communicate. I think one of the books was how to communicate with cats, and I'm like, you know what, it makes sense. If humans are a little too difficult, maybe start smaller with a feline. But just seeing the photo album, everything like that, those are the sweet moments that really sell you on what's going on. And it was nice to see another sequence of Komi kind of becoming friends with someone, or at the very least putting herself out there to help someone who's also struggling in their own way with communication. And Chuny disorders are interesting because I would say it's not often, but I think it's a pretty even split of which way an anime will go when they have a chuuni character. Either A, it's just funny sequences, or they're going to delve into the problem of why they have trouble interacting normally and have to put up this facade about fighting dragons and things like that because they have trouble just acknowledging that they want to be friends. So in the case of this character, they need a blood pact. And I like how they kept the kind of like energy of anime in terms of how they perceive and kind of portray chuuni characters, but you got so many sequences where without saying things, you saw the quivering or the visibly upset body reactions of this character, and how, Komi going over after I'm a Dark Lord, this or that, the generic kind of chuuni dialogue, very much seeming like, of course, no one wants to be with me, but that's okay because I got this dark energy, you wouldn't want to touch me. But then you have like her come over and offer to kind of like stretch because they're about to play volleyball, so you need a partner to help like make you more flexible so you don't pull a muscle or things like that. And to just see how happy it made her, I mean, that was just such a great moment. And it's great to see that, like, even though a character, who has this very powerful chuuni persona, it's starting to crack as well. So it seems like Komi is going to be the type of character who, as much as making friends will help break her out of her shell, the people that she chooses herself to befriend will also allow her personality to help them break out of their shell and become a little more like situated for general society. Because if you're gonna get a job and dress up like the Dark Lord, I mean, unless you're making anime videos like myself, probably ain't gonna work out for you. And you can tell that it's definitely a shield to kind of like deal with that social awkwardness and that social anxiety. So it's interesting to see how they're introducing different characters with different communication disorders rather than just not being able to talk and things like that. And to just see like the little bit of backstory we got with Tadano in terms of why he's such an average guy, the fact that he also had a chuuni persona, and the fact that he really tried to be like, he put himself out there. He wasn't wearing an eye patch or anything, but he was very much trying to be like the protagonist in an anime, being the bad boy. And when he tried to ask the girl out, and the fact that she called him a chuuni, and then that in return broke him into an average guy, it's a little heartbreaking, I'm not gonna lie. But I do think, live and learn. What life throws us some curveballs. And I think the general Tadano that we have right now is definitely the exact type of Tadano that I think Komi needs. And you can definitely tell in terms of how everyone always like lashes out and like puts themselves in front of Komi. The fact that you have such an average guy like Tadano who's just there, who clearly gets flustered, but he's not overly dramatic about it. I think that's exactly what makes the two's relationship so great, because you can't have an extreme personality with someone coming out of their shell. You need someone who's a little more cool, calm, and collected, and is just average. I think that's exactly what, someone who's being praised as a queen, a goddess, a princess needs. An average friend who probably is developing romantic feelings alongside Tadano himself. But another great episode. I mean, meeting the mother, the chuuni, the situational, from the rival to everything like that. A great episode, and hopefully we'll see the ramen guy again as well with his little whispers and things like that. But let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, your favorite moment, and your personal top pick character as it stands. Let me know down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.